I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
Oh, nice little audio like recorder too. Lets you know.
Up,
you guys just start right off the rip, huh? All right.
We're jumping right into it.
Okay,
up,
okay.
baby?
Let's see. So let me see the layout of how this looks. So if Justin's talking, does he pop up on the main screen, or is that
Yeah.
Post whoever's like loudest or talking at the time, usually.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I'll be honest, I don't know how this shit actually records, because there's some episodes where it's been like all three of our heads, and then there's other times where it's just like the main person who's talking. But I don't know, just as a rule of thumb, don't pick your nose.
I mean, I do it all the time. Anyway, yo, check it out.
Oh, the OG.
You know, had to be done.
Before you hopped on here and we couldn't hear you over the audio, Justin goes, damn, look at Kenny with the setup. I was like, yeah, Kenny's got a good little home office studio.
You know how I am, bro.
That's nice. My home office turned into Liz's closet. The entire bedroom is just her closet, basically.
That sounds about
That's how it
right.
works, though. Yeah. It's the sacrifice you pay, you know, when you get into a relationship.
She's already.
So what's good, Ken? How you doing, bro?
Oh, you know, staying busy, bro. How you guys doing?
I'm good, man. I just got home from. I've been at the gym literally since. I feel like Thursdays are always my busiest day. I was at the gym from 10 a.m. until literally like 20 minutes ago, training clients, train myself, and then now here we are. We'll do this for a couple hours, and then that's it for the day. So busy day, but productive. What about you, Justin?
I got it off early. I was done by like 3 today, so I was home by like 3:30. And then all my client stuff is like there's like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I did like meal prep Sunday, Monday, and yesterday. So I like got home and I was like, I don't have anything to do. I did like a little bit of laundry. Like I watched like 2 episodes of Game of Thrones. I looked at a client's blood work, but like I actually had a pretty chill day.
That's nice, actually. Well,
Wait, are you just watching Game of Thrones or are you rewatching?
So I watched it once. Actually, I just finished the first time like 5 months ago.
Okay.
It took 10 years to finally like start it and watch it. And then I got to the end and I'm like, holy shit, that was good.
Dude, you guys are gonna make fun of me. I've never watched Game of Thrones, like not even 1 minute. I know nothing about it.
Every time you've said that, you've been told this, but like it's definitely worth it. Like I didn't start watching it until like I said, I just finished it like 6 months ago or something for the first time ever, and like I think it's awesome.
I'm trying to think with Scott if I could see him watching Game of Thrones.
Because
I know it takes a little bit too to kind of heat up and get you hooked. So I'm just trying to think if you'd even make it like through that initial part to get to that.
Well, all right, Ken, like
because I know you
and my ADD is off the wall. I don't know if I could sit through like what is there like 10 seasons?
8.
There's 8, yeah.
Yeah, that's so much.
There's a lot, yeah. I mean, it's a solid 8 entertaining seasons, but I know for sure you're like me with the ADHD and smoking. There's just no way.
Yeah, I was really like between like work and just my ADD, I would be maybe like 30 minutes in. I'm like, nah, I can't. And then I don't know. Everyone tells me I'd like it, so maybe I'll get into it eventually. But I don't know. We'll see.
I think you give it a shot tonight after the podcast.
All right, you know what? I'll make you a deal. After we wrap this tonight, I do have some bullshit to do on my computer, but I'll throw it on like. See, that's the thing. Normally, if I have something on, whether it's like a show or a podcast, I'll keep that on as like background noise. So I'm half paying attention to that, half doing my work, however that works out. But yeah, I feel like Game of Thrones would be something I have to like fully invest like my attention into.
You gotta pay attention because there's a lot of stuff that goes on. And like I'm right now watching it for like the second time through and I'm like catching stuff. And especially now that I know what happens, I see the stuff as it happens and I'm like, oh shit, that's, that adds up later on. But it's something you should be paying attention to because there's a lot that goes on. And like Kenny, so he's seen it. It's like 8 different stories all happening because you have like all these individual characters around the world. And eventually they like all their stories finally collide. But it's like so many different stories all at once.
Dude, and then have you seen House of Dragon?
Yeah.
Okay, so then it's dope because then you get to intertwine those 2 stories, and then it makes sense because they'll make references in Game of Thrones to characters that are in House of Dragon. So it's pretty dope.
Yeah, I was watching an episode today, and I saw them make a reference about Rhaenyra and Aegon fighting over the crown. I'm like, oh, holy shit! Like I don't know if
Right.
they've done that or like that just happened, but I was like, that's exactly what what is it? House of Dragons is.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
That was
Kenny, I
dope to
got
see
one
all.
for you.
Okay,
What's
okay.
better, Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings?
I mean, Lord of the Rings, 100%. But
I knew you were gonna say that. I can see the mask in the background. That thing's crazy.
I should have worn it for the podcast.
Dude, when I don't know who made that for you, but when I was at your house last and I saw that, I was like, dude, this thing is legit, like full on heavy duty, like detail is so nice. Like whoever made that definitely put some time and money into it.
Yeah, actually, wait.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I want to see it. That's pretty cool.
Dude, yeah, you can see it's huge, bro. And it like literally fits over his head. Like Kenny will just be walking through the house wearing that shit.
Badass.
So it's like Sauron's helmet, yeah, from Lord of the Rings.
Sick.
Bro, I'm surprised you haven't done a reel with that at the gym yet.
Sorry, what's up?
I said I'm surprised you haven't done a reel wearing that at the gym.
Dude, there's no way. That would be some pretty funny skits though to do for sure.
Just
Like,
walk
I mean, Game of Thrones is still top tier. Just I don't know, different.
Just imagine you walk up to somebody in the middle of their set and you're like tap them on the shoulder wearing that helmet. You're like, hey bro, how many sets you got left?
Especially because if they have no idea what the fuck even Lord of the Rings is, so they're just throwing more off guard by like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, of course, of course. All right, guys. So we kind of just jump right in every time, but welcome back. We got episode 6 today. Special guest, the one and only Mr. Kenny KO.
What's up? What's up? Be careful.
Hey, be careful, brother.
Hey, be careful.
So I know, Kenny, it's been a few weeks since I was just with you in Vegas, but what else is going on with you? Everything good with business?
Yes, I started full-time streaming now too. So
Ooh, you took
you
my
know
advice.
my schedule with like the content and everything, and then we're gonna be doing our IRL streams too. So I'm getting all the equipment and everything situated for that. What I'm wanting to do is start going into the gym and just live streaming, almost like a Sam Solik, I guess, type vibe, but
Yeah.
even more raw because it would be live. So it's almost like someone's there with you while you work out and just kind of hanging out. So we're gonna do that. Stay on top of doing the content. Of course, we'll always do the natty or not stuff, and then the business related side, taking care of 2 dogs now, dog dad life. So definitely a full ass schedule for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So, Justin, when I was out in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, Kenny and I were talking about just like how he's evolved as a content creator, how his content has not changed, but obviously like we grow up, we mature, our interests change a little bit. So like kind of getting away from some of the stuff he started off doing. And then now even we were talking about like how I believe he has such a loyal following who, you know, like at a certain point, people just like you for you. And so it's like I said to Kenny, I go, bro, you could go fishing, you could do cooking. It doesn't matter. Like people are going to watch it because it's you. And so like it's actually dope that you started live streaming because I mean, I already knew like if you just live streamed a workout, like us going to the gym or us going to fuck, I can't remember the name of the spicy chicken place with Teriyaki Madness. But like
yeah, you better remember that.
But like it's funny because I was telling you, I was like, bro, I was like, you have such a good following and such a good network that like if you started live streaming, I was like, I guarantee it pops.
Yeah. And I mean, dude, it would have been dope if I had started that while you were out here too. That would have been like the perfect scenario. Just going into Fit Club and live stream it. Yeah, there we go. Because I want to plan out some segments, go do some like in-person type of stuff, maybe even natty or night type of stuff or controversial type things, you know?
Yeah.
Because then live, you never know what's really going to pop off or like what's going to happen, which is the fun part.
Oh, for sure. Have you been, what are you streaming on? Are you streaming on Kick?
Yeah, Kick right now.
I almost was going to guess you were streaming on Rumble just because I know Rumble's a little bit more uncensored with like free speech, but I don't know like what.
So it's like you kind of have to choose, right? You have YouTube and Twitch, which are going to be the largest streaming platforms, but obviously the most regulated and censored on what you can do. Then I say somewhere in the middle, you have Kick, where it's a large platform, not as large as the others, but you can get away with more. For instance, I could take like bong rips or something on stream or do whatever the kind of the fuck I want. And then Rumble, I'd say like even more goes, but it's just less of a viewer base. So a little bit harder, I guess, to grow if you're just kind of starting out fresh, you don't have a super loyal following or something.
Yeah.
But so it's that risk to reward. I mean, it depends what you want to do and then how big of an audience you kind of want to potentially reach.
That's dope, bro. Because I remember even when we lived together, it was about the time, probably 2020, when like YouTube Shorts was like becoming a thing. And you were like onto that so early, telling me like, oh, Shorts is the next up. Like, just keep your eye on it, make sure you're posting on it. And you were right. Like, so again, same thing here with like the streaming. I felt like it was only a matter of time before you were like, okay, yeah, I gotta fuck with this.
If only people had listened to my advice about the YouTube shorts a long time ago, there could have been some massive creators.
Yeah, right. Well, so typically we'll kind of just do some bro chat, but Kenny, you have such an interesting story, and I don't think you've ever truly told anybody like how you got started, and like the story of where you started and where you are now is fucking crazy. And obviously, I know it. I was behind the scenes for a lot of it, watching you grow, but like people really don't know. I think you have this persona online, which is people see you one way, but like behind closed doors and off camera, like I say you have been such an inspiration to me. You have helped me more than you'll ever know with teaching me things about social media, business, and shit like that. So I kind of wanted to get you on here today just to kind of share a little bit of your story, how you went from a firefighter to now like one of the biggest fitness YouTubers in the entire space.
Well,
So
first off, I just want to say I love you, my man.
I love you too.
No, honestly, Scott's one of the most authentic people I've met, and that's why I fuck with him so heavy.
Yeah, you
And
do,
why you moved in with me. We're little cuddle buddies for a bit.
bro.
And I know I can probably say the same for Justin too, because I know whoever Scott associates with is also usually an authentic and like down to earth, easy person. So,
Dude, I tell everybody Justin's a better version of me, like literally.
And that shows you how good of a guy he is. I'm not that.
yeah.
I always joke, I'm like, why would you say that? I'm like, well, you know, I'm like, he's more educated than me. He's a doctor. He already has his pro card. He's in a healthy, happy relationship. I was like, he's just got it all. I was like, he's a better version of me.
Maybe he just learned like a little brother, you know?
Yeah, you know what? But when I say I'm always considering myself lucky because I'm surrounded by like people like each of you guys who make me better. So inherently I'll get there sooner than later, hopefully. But
Right.
so Kenny, why don't you tell everyone how you started off making content? Because I remember you showing me some of like your earliest videos, and like, dude, they were so funny because like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were like pranking your parents and shit.
Yeah, I was actually just talking about my mom because she was here over the weekend watching the dogs while I was out of town, and I brought it
Nice.
up. Yeah, no one really knows except for you and a few people maybe that have seen a video at some point a long time ago. But I started out pranking my mom, but that was before I knew that pranks were scripted back on YouTube in the day,
Right?
where people would kind of generate responses or knew what the prank was going to be and just would make it crazy. So I was just actually raw dogging the pranks, like. And I went a little bit too far and it'd make my mom cry, and it was just too devastating. I was like, I don't know how these YouTubers are able to pull this off with my mom's mental being just dwindling down every single upload. So I stopped uploading in 2011 was my last prank video. And then in 2017 is when I made the return back to YouTube. And that was when it was more in the fitness space, talking about the fake weights with Brad Castleberry and then Photoshop scandals. And then that was like the shreds time frame, you know, with the supplement industry scams and all that stuff. So there's a lot kind of popping off that people weren't talking about. And then, of course, the natty or not thing eventually caught wind too. So just went full into that from the personal training firefighter side. Wanted to see how far I could take the entrepreneur life because I always loved the firefighting career too. I always said I would go back if need be, or if the whole entrepreneur life didn't work out as a fantastic career. But I just kind of always really thrived, I felt, as an entrepreneur, just making use of my own time and allowing my creative outlook on different things and build and kind of develop along the way. So want to see how far I could take it. And I feel like eventually you just kind of build a community of like-minded people that want the same type of thing. And then
Yep.
it's just a really fun experience. So got me to like where I am now.
Well, a lot of the times too, like Justin and I'll talk about certain people behind the scenes, and like take for example, like you or Goob or even Craig Doucette, but it's like you guys got so much popularity because you were exposing people who were lying and basically misleading people, scamming people. And without people like you in the industry, there's a lot of bullshit that goes completely unregulated. And so like where you were kind of not all heroes wear capes type shit, like you were the one who's like, no, not so fast. Like, and that's
Right.
like, obviously with the different types of content you started doing after the pranks, like really you started to see kind of this whole niche in the space where it's like, okay, like I'm really starting to get some traction here, you know?
And I really wonder if influencers had never been checked, for instance, by me or Greg or anyone that's ever, you know, criticized these influencers, where the
Right.
industry would be. You know, would it just be who could Photoshop the craziest and no one ever calls it out? Or shit, like I'm kind of wondering, like, how toxic would it actually be if there wasn't those people that were, you know, calling out or trying to correct the wrongdoings of these influencers?
People
Yeah,
are already like still so just outrageous with their stuff, with their photoshops and the crap they post online, even with people like you and Goob and
Bro, so you know what's crazy is, or the wildest one I saw as of recently was around Olympia time frame. I don't know if you remember, Goob exposed Ryan Terry was photoshopping his picture.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And
One of the best physiques in the world.
And
Like,
I'm like, you're literally men's physique, the best physique in the world. And you
right.
still Photoshop your pictures, which just goes to show that I feel like anyone that does bodybuilding has some form of body dysmorphia. You know?
Facts.
Because literally you have the best physique on the planet and you still are, you know, thinking about how you might have certain flaws here and there and trying to hide it or use Photoshop to change whatever it is, which is just crazy to think about though.
I don't think you can compete in bodybuilding and not have body dysmorphia.
Agreed.
For sure.
Guys or girls. Like, I absolutely have it.
Same. I mean, it's funny. I always joke with like my clients in the gym when I'm training. They'll look at the, like someone in the gym and point, be like, "Oh, they have such a great physique." I go, "Yeah, they have body dysmorphia too."
I'm like, yeah, go,
Like,
go
what
ask them what they think of their physique.
I'm like,
It's
the
like,
better someone looks, the more mentally fucked they are about how good they look.
Yep.
It's
Oh,
just
for
always
sure.
the truth.
Every single time. And as you know, too, there's always levels with it, of course. You remember with Craig and different people that are out there, it's almost like a range. The bigger you get, the more you get body dysmorphia, I swear.
Yeah, it's almost like this vicious cycle of like you go to the gym because you want to look better, you want to feel better, you start to see some progress, but then you keep going because you still want to look better, you still want to feel better, but then you keep going and then maybe you start to look better, you start to feel better, but then you're like, wait, I feel small, and then you keep going. So it's just like this never-ending vicious cycle. But like ultimately, I mean, I love it. I mean, I think bodybuilding saved my life. So like I don't mind the time I invest into it, but I saw one of my buddies recently talking about like how bodybuilding can be an thankless time suck would basically be the way of saying it. And I was like, well, if you're not getting anything out of it, then maybe you're not doing it right, or you're doing it for the wrong reasons. But I think even not a lot of people know you've competed before, and obviously you've done a prep. So you've experienced too, where it's like there is kind of that fulfillment in pushing yourself and seeing how extreme you can go to build the best version of yourself. But also like, either you love it or you kind of decide this isn't for me. But I always joke that you should get back on stage. I think you're what the industry's missing right now.
What, me hopping on stage and placing last because everyone's going fucking crazy these days?
The irony too of Kenny being Mr. Natty or not, like everyone's always asking like what your stack is. And if I asked you your stack right now, I'd probably guess it's like maybe 200 tests, 5 milligrams Cialis, and probably a scoop of pre-workout. That's probably all you're taking.
Dude, you do know me really fucking well. That's crazy.
but obviously,
like
like
my background.
You have such a good physique, even since you like barely use PEDs anymore. And it's funny because like some people genetically just have a good physique and some people don't. So like a lot of times, like, exactly what I'm going to say. There's people who are blasting that look like complete shit. So it's just like, sometimes you just don't have the genetics for it.
Dude, that's kind of always the interesting part too, is I always get the people, they'll write in the comments when I interview someone that doesn't look like they're on steroids. And for the exact reason that a lot of people are on steroids that you think would be natural. And then there's also on the other end of the spectrum, you do have those genetic freaks who are just hyper responders. And yeah, they're probably unnatural, but they're not as on crazy as cycles as a lot of people think either.
Yeah.
So it could really go either way. And that's the wild part is I've heard of people just running insanely stupid high dose cycles and they still look natty.
I remember when I was in chiropractic school, there was this kid and he would always like talk to like friends of mine and they, be like, what do you want? Thinking that I'm on ungodly amounts of stuff. And I've always been very conservative with my use. Again, way less than what people probably thought I was on. And then this guy is blasting stuff and just looked like dog shit. He looked like a bag of milk. But he'd always be like, well, I could look like him if I was on gear too. And like, I could do that too if I just did a little bit more. And I'm like, it's not the gear that makes me look different. Yeah. Obviously it helps. But I eat 6 meals a day, every single day for the last 15 years straight. And I go to the gym 4 to 5 times a week for the last 15 years straight. It's not the gear that got me here. It helped my trajectory. But
cherry on top.
Yeah, it's the cherry on top. But like my discipline and my work ethic is what got me here. Because you're on twice as much gear as me and you look like trash.
Right. No, and that's the crazy part too. A lot of people think it's just a magic pill and that you don't have to do shit or you don't have to change any of your lifestyle habits. You just implement that and then you're Mr. Olympia. You're able, go get your pro card. But people don't realize it's like the fundamental roots, genetics, the way you train, diet, actually having that lifestyle down, knowing your training style that works for you is all like the more fundamental pieces. And then just a little tool you add in is the anabolics to take you to like the next level.
Well, I think the real sweet spot is when you kind of start to understand the different compounds and how your body reacts to it, to a point where you, like Justin said, don't have to push the most to get the most out of it. And so it's not like more means more. Sometimes less actually means more.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to be really educated and strategic about it. But
Bro,
okay.
that's the crazy thing these days, though, especially with the social media influencer scene.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I want to shoot shots too much, but I'm sure you know Togi, right?
Yeah, of course.
And it's like he parties all the time, so that's probably attributing to why he doesn't look as crazy. But his physique is attainable naturally, 100%. But yet he's blasting like all this crazy gear, and it's just
I can tell you want to say it. Togi's physique is shit. You can say
the reason is just it seems like a dope dude. Well, it's still a good physique, but it is attainable naturally. So the point being is, why blast all this gear for a naturally attainable physique? You know, for the people that are out there, because there's no reason. What are you gaining? More chance for a heart attack or heart complications later on, or different side effects? Or
he was in the hospital recently and said he almost died. And I mean, he said it was from an Adderall overdose, if I'm not mistaken. But even still, like, I mean,
I get Adderall you have to take the overdose.
Yeah, it'd have to be so much, because I mean, I've been heavy in the meth before, and it's like that's way stronger.
Yeah, I mean, like, not to talk shit on Togi, I actually really enjoy his content because it's such just a roller coaster and you never know what's going to happen next. It's so random and sporadic. And he almost took that like David Dobrik style and then incorporated it with like his gambling, his fitness. But I don't even really think he's doing fitness so much anymore. It's more so now he's just hanging out with Steve at the Red Rock gambling. Which,
yeah, live streams.
It's pretty sick too, but
which would be more effective. I mean, I didn't see him like having a career in competing or bodybuilding, so it's probably more down his avenue or route that would be more beneficial for him.
Yeah, he said that from the get-go that he was just doing the gear to pretty much leverage the social media following, and then kind of once he built that loyal following, take it to whatever direction he wanted, which, I mean, he's been gambling forever, so I'm not surprised that now, like, primarily his streams are consisting of gambling and partying. But
which is such an interesting part now. I feel like with social media too, there's such a pressure for the kids that if you want to make it in the fitness industry, you're gonna have to blast gear in order to stand out, or Photoshop, do something to get the attention or stand out from the vast majority of people that are out there, which is wild now. I'm kind of glad that we didn't have it back in the day, when we were just getting into lifting and everything, because holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like I could have fallen for that if we had social media like we do now when we were young. Like,
right, for sure. You see, like all your friends are popping off on TikTok or whatever because their physiques and the numbers they're pushing in the gym are crazy. So then you're pressured to hop on. Otherwise, you're not going to ever be noticed for what you're doing.
Yeah,
I will say though,
like I don't think I had any social media influence to do drugs. Like, I looked up to bodybuilders and like watched a ton of YouTube videos, but like, there was never like, oh, Trend Twins, I should do a bunch of Trend and I'll look like them too. Like, I didn't have any of that. When I was looking at Jay Cutler and Dorian, like, obviously I knew gear was part of the equation, but I didn't think it's like a cool thing to do, or like I had to do it to get somewhere with social media. I just ate a lot of food and worked out and took a bunch of Jack 3D.
I missed that back in the day. Oh man, if I could get my hands on some of that or some Craze, the original OG formulas.
And you should can't reformulate Jack.
Yeah, maybe that's what Half Wicked's gonna do, and then we're gonna have to find some legal way to get about, like some loophole where we can actually mass distribute out.
That would actually be dope if you could bring back like a blend of Jack 3D under Half Wicked. I
guarantee that'd be the #1 pre-workout seller for the year.
Down.
Guaranteed.
That pre-workout alone captures an entire generation of lifting. Like, oh, Jacked is back. Okay, I'm on it.
That's probably why I'm so fried to this day, though. Was essentially just ripping like mild dose meth every day as a teenager, before going into the gym.
Well, okay, so hold on. Let's rewind a little bit. So you mentioned, obviously, I know, but the people watching this might not. But so, okay, you were living back in Lake Tahoe. You were working as a firefighter. You started doing the YouTube pranks with your mom and then took some time off. There was a gap in between for maybe 5-6 years, we'll call it. And then what got you like into fitness? Because I mean, obviously you've always like, you're a big dude. And I don't think a lot of people actually know that until they meet you in real life. And they're like, oh shit.
The height. It's because I'm always sitting down like this.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice to my advantage, because then when people have beef or something, then they might like second guess it, at the expos and whatnot.
Dude, let me just say, as much shit as you talk online, and this is what I used to always joke about. I go, think about it like this. If you're talking shit, you have to be really good at talking shit for people to like the shit you're talking. But then in addition to that, you are the same person on camera as you are off camera. And what I mean by that is like the way you behave, there's no difference. So like if you're talking shit like we are right now, you would say the same thing to someone's face.
Oh,
And when they
100%.
see you in person and they realize how big you are, they're like, oh shit, I can't do nothing about it.
I mean, that's how I've always tried to be, though, is, just transparent. What you see on camera is what you're going to get in person. I'll never say anything behind someone's back. If I have a problem with them, I'll just say it to their face. And, if they like me, cool. If they dislike me, cool.
Yeah.
Whatever, no bad blood. But yeah, so what got me into fitness, though, was I had a sports background, and then, of course, a strength and conditioning coach. So they had forced us to go into the gym. And then just over time, just kind of fell in love with the building the physique aspect of it. Pushing yourself in the gym, either benching more, squatting more. Because I started off, I couldn't even bench the bar. I remember in bucket. It was like 8th grade too, right? It was embarrassing as fuck. I went up to the high school to, work out with the football team and couldn't even bench the bar. So then seeing the progress, of course, when you're in the gym, seeing the physique change. And then I got to, the little overly cocky teenager stage where I'd rip off the sleeves on my shirts. Definitely had no physique still at that point, but maybe a little bit more than the other teenagers.
Sure.
And then, yeah, of course, pursued firefighting, and with firefighting, hand in hand goes fitness as well. Started to do shows because I was just in the gym setting, met some competitors. And then also at this point too, back in the teens, this is when I believed Arnold was natty, and a lot of these dudes were natty in the gym who had these crazy numbers, and none of them would ever tell me about the cycles or anything they're taking. They would just say, oh, I'm on creatine monohydrate. You need to try this, or this pre-workout, or I eat this much food. And no one was transparent about shit back in the day. And there wasn't the access of the internet like there is now. There's a few bodybuilding forums here and there, people writing what their cycle was and their experience, versus now you could get fucking any information you want. Literally, Chat GPT can give you every single answer you want about every cycle you've ever wanted to. Which, by the way, if you guys ever want some cycle advice, just hit up Chat GPT.
I'm not a doctor. Not medical advice.
But so then I was doing firefighting for a few years while also doing competitions, and my last competition was in 2019. And I'll get into why I stopped competing too in a little bit. But then with firefighting, I moved down to Reno, was doing personal training because you work 2 days on and you get 4 off with the with the firefighter schedule. So on my off days, I would just be personally training people. And then at night I'd have downtime, and you know how I am, Scott, is I always like to game or kind of be on my computer doing something. So I just happened to be on social media, and I saw the Brad Castleberry videos pop up of this dude who was doing these crazy lists, but he would never go prove it in person. And he'd get called out all the time and get offered all these lump sums of money to go prove it, would never do it. Same thing with Heba Ali with her wall sit and the fake
I remember
weights.
that one.
So I was like, you know what? People need to call this shit out, and I'm not really seeing anyone do it. So I made some videos, and then when I went in person with Heba Ali for the wall sit one, that was the first, I guess, like big video that kind of blew up and skyrocketed my channel. Which, looking back at that video now, how it got that many views, I have no fucking idea, because the editing was trash. I had like
the quality of the video.
The quality of the video was horrendous. It was literally filled off my shitty ass phone at that time. I had these overlays on it, which changed the color like every single scene from red to blue to green. It was just the most fucking atrocious looking video ever, but somehow it popped off. And then,
what was your reaction when you had that like first viral video where you're like, holy shit?
It was literally that, where I was like, wait, what? I knew it was going to do well because there was a lot of hype in the videos I'd built up to that, where I was reviewing her clips saying why I thought it was fake weights and that I was going to fly down and, call her out in person. But I never thought it would get the response it did, where I was just seeing it everywhere and it was like blowing up. So with that and just that whole niche, I saw that there was a void that kind of needed to be filled, and there wasn't any content creators making any of that type of content. So just kind of went full into it. And obviously with the videos blowing up, I knew there was an audience that wanted to see that type of content. So just went full into that, decided to give up the personal training and firefighting for the time being and just see how far I could take the social media. I had enough in my savings and whatnot at that time, which also, fun fact, I was down so bad in my funds. I was shoplifting from the grocery store, certain groceries. People don't realize, people don't realize I was like broke. My savings was going negative like every month. I was fighting for money just to survive and everything. And then, the social media is making just enough where I could kind of survive, pay my rent, which was cheap as fuck, $500 a month or something back at that time frame.
That's crazy
And
now, like saying that with today. I mean, the price of eggs is crazy. Let alone
yeah, and that was
$500
total.
a
That was
plant.
like that was with all my utilities and everything for $500. I wish I could go back to that time, but uh, yeah, just continue to grow and grow. And of course, then another hard part was trying to tell my parents how I'm making money because they didn't even fucking understand, and they were worried. Like, why are you leaving a career that you went all your schooling for, and you're already in, and you're just gonna randomly pursue YouTube? How are you even gonna make any money? So, with YouTube, but then I saw, of course, just my entrepreneur mindset, the power of social media marketing, where you could essentially, you're a billboard for yourself and you can market whatever you want, how you want. So it allowed my creative outlet, because I've always been a little bit of an artist, to kind of do it in a video format and continue to build from there. So yeah, that essentially gets us to where we're at now. And then with competitions, though, in 2019 was the last time I competed. And it really just came down to, I'd done some shows and I qualified for nationals. I was going to go do a national show, and then COVID hit in 2020 because my show was at the end of 2019. And that was when I was going to do the national show, was at the start of 2020. And I just kind of realized I think I'd rather just pursue the content and job aspect of the bodybuilding fitness space. I don't see my genetics and everything having what it takes at a top caliber IFBB pro, especially nowadays on the Olympia stage, where I'm just a realist. You know, I'd have to blast such an insane amount of gear. And I think even then I don't have the right structure that these divisions are looking for. So why kind of murder myself to attain, you know, a pro card or try and make a living in the bodybuilding space when I'm perfectly enjoying what I'm doing now? So I just decided to step away from the competing scene, but definitely respect everyone that still does it, you know.
Well, I was gonna say,
I do know what it takes, you know. It's
well, I
like
mean,
it's a
obviously,
job.
when I mean, I lived with you. Obviously, you saw me live the life all day, every day, from eating, sleeping, training, posing. I mean, you'd wake up, I'd be downstairs doing my check-ins with my coach, like making anabolic French toast in the mornings. Like you've pretty much lived the life yourself, but then also like by default, by living with me, like you still were seeing the life every day. So you understand very well versus most people who have no fucking idea. But so, okay, so let's backtrack a little bit too to how we met. So this would have been relevant to about 2019, 2020. And at the time, you were still doing some of the expo videos, a lot of like the natty or nots, a lot of the call outs. And you know how sometimes just like YouTube will recommend something in your algorithm. So I had no idea who you were. One of your videos popped up and I can't remember which one it was. I want to say it was like you asking David Lade if he was natty or not. And he got so just like, but I was like, holy shit. I was like, this dude's real as fuck. I was like, I respect that because one, it takes balls to call people out to their face. But two, like at the time, there was no one else doing that. So you were like literally the first. And so then obviously I start watching your videos. YouTube continues to recommend them. I'm like, oh, this guy's pretty funny, whatever. I start following you on social media. And again, at this point, we have no idea who one another is in real life. And so I remember one day I was sitting at my condo I used to own, and I had seen your Instagram story just posting, hey, looking for a graphic designer, hit me up if you know anybody. So I just DM'd you. I was like, yo, what's good, bro? And again, with how flooded your messages are, I'm still surprised you even saw it, right? But
Fate brought us together.
Huh?
Fate brought us together.
Literally, I mean, maybe it was, but like, so you saw my message. We didn't even know who each other was. And you messaged me back. You're like, hey, what's good, bro? I was like, hey, saw you're looking for some graphic design. What do you have in mind? And then here comes all the half-wicked stuff, which is your baby now. So it started off, I think we like jumped on a couple phone calls or FaceTimes, and I tried to understand kind of what it was you were looking for from like a branding and logo standpoint. Then we started working on everything. I started doing the branding. We nailed the logo pretty quick, I remember. And then you and I were going back and forth working on the website for a few weeks. And it got to the point pretty much where we were like ready to launch. And obviously, Justin doesn't know this, but you and I still had never met like face to face. So I call you up one day and I remember this. I was like, hey, bro, I was like, what are you doing this weekend? You're like, just chilling in Vegas. What are you doing? I was like, we need to connect the website, but I need some authorizations. I need some financial things on the back end. And we don't know each other. So I go, I wouldn't trust some random guy I met offline just to give him my credit card info. I go, why don't I hop a flight out there? We'll kick it for the weekend and we'll wrap this shit up together. And that was literally the first time we met.
Yeah, which is crazy to think back on, bro, because it feels like a lifetime ago.
Bro,
You
it literally feels like forever to go. So fast forward, I fly out to Vegas and I'm staying at, I can't remember what hotel. I think I was at the Cosmo. you come over there, and this is actually, you're going to die laughing when I say this, because I don't think I've ever told you this, but I mean, it's live, it's posted on my YouTube channel. The first YouTube video I ever posted, Kenny and I did a reaction at the very end.
Yeah,
Will Smith, Jada Smith entanglement situation. It was like, just came out. We hadn't seen
Holy
it
shit!
yet.
You just I forgot about that, bro.
Dude,
Yeah, is that
that
on your
was
channel?
it's still on my channel. It's the first YouTube video I've ever posted. If you guys want to go back and watch it, it's me and Kenny from like 5-6 years ago. And it's literally us reacting to Will Smith, like his wife cheating on him. And we were just like, what the fuck is this? And it was so funny because like, obviously we had just met each other, but I knew like it was going to be a funny piece of content. Your reactions obviously were funny. And so I think that was literally the first time we hung out in person, but also like the first time we worked out, the first time we shot content together. And it was just like, right off the bat, I was like, this is a good dude. Like, because you were just genuine and the same person you are online as you are in real life.
My man. And that's where the love story started.
That's where the bromance began. But
like you mentioned, a lot of people don't know where Half Wicked essentially started with Scott. You know, he built the logo, did a lot of the label, design and everything for me, the site layout. Yeah. So it was all you're doing.
But in reality, what's funny is now fast forward to me having my own company, dude, you had inherently taught me so many lessons that I'm still leveraging now for my own business. So it's crazy how like, you don't ever really realize the foundation we're laying 5 years ago was actually what's making us successful now. But like, because of you, I've kind of realized that.
Oh, bro, and deadass, this is why I always tell people, especially recently, I was like, it's so important who you surround yourselves with. Yeah. Because I always revert back to when I was in my apartment. I had you and Crispy at the time, come in. It was just like, it was content. And it really is who you surround yourself with, because if you're around the wrong people, you're inherently either, maybe going to be lazy or follow their tendencies. But we were just all so driven to like make content at that time and just go film things, do random things, that it was just such a motivating environment to be in. Where I think that was some of my best growth was during that COVID time frame, around then. And you and Crispy being there were like a huge attributing factor to that.
So Crispy, Justin, you wouldn't know who this is, but this is a videographer. This is like, he was like a little brother to me, and I still consider him a little brother, even though we don't speak. Maybe one day he'll apologize for his bullshit and make amends. But anyways, so going back to the story. So
let's get him on here.
Dude, I would love to get to be honest, I can only imagine what
I'd be kind of down. I just
send him a Zoom link with no context and he just jumps in right now. But okay, so here's what happens. So I go back from Vegas that weekend after Kenny and I first met. Obviously, we're still keeping in touch on a regular basis, working together. And I remember maybe a couple weeks go by and I post another YouTube video and Kenny calls me right away. He goes, "Who edited this video?" He's like, "This video is fucking sick. I need to know who did this right now. I'm looking to hire someone full time." So this guy, Chris, his nickname's Crispy. So if you hear us mention it, that's who we're referring to. But so anyways, Chris at the time was enlisted in the military, absolutely hated it, was looking for a way out, wanted a full-time position. And so like, obviously here him and we just started working together. I didn't want to lose him full time, but at the same time, I would be a shitty friend to prevent him from such a greater opportunity. So Kenny basically says like, "Hey, link me with this guy. I want to hire him full time. You think he'll move out to Vegas?" And I was like, he hates his job, maybe, like pitch him an offer and see what happens. Like if it works, cool. I'm happy for both of you guys and I'll just have to come out and visit. So sure enough, Kenny and Chris start talking, and within, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks, like he gets an honorable discharge from the military. Then he ends up, I don't know if I came out there with him to help him move out. I can't remember, but long story short, Chris moves out there. So now Kenny's got, and again, this kid's work ethic, he's completely lazy as shit, but he's one of the most talented filmmakers both of us know. So like when he moved out there, him and Kenny are making probably some of the best quality videos that have been on his channel. So obviously now I'm sitting back in Scottsdale watching the two of them run around Vegas, just making sick content all day. And I'm like, I want to be in Vegas. This sucks. So ironically, at the time, I was also selling my condo in Arizona. So I was like, you know what? I was like, COVID had just hit. I wasn't working doing real estate anymore. So I had pretty much just freedom and flexibility to travel. So basically, like for me, I would go out, stay in Vegas with Kenny for a week. Then I'd go to Miami, do the same thing, stay with one of the homies out there for a week, go to Texas. And I was just making this little trip between Arizona, Vegas, Miami, and Texas. Yeah. And I mean, it was dope. That was some of my best times ever in the fitness industry, literally living out of a suitcase, sleeping on Kenny's futon. But like,
and Justin, keep in mind, this futon was probably the worst futon to ever be made. It was like if you slept on 2x4s,
yeah,
little Liver King action.
But you know what? Like when I say, kind of like you said, how you were so inspired, so was I. And like we would wake up in the morning, the three of us would sit around a kitchen table, have our coffee, have our cereal, whatever. And we had this like white dry erase board. And literally we would just have ideas upon ideas for content to make. And it was like, okay, guys, what do we want to try and create today? And it was so cool because that really opened my eyes to like what's possible. Like I remember one time, Kenny's going to laugh at this story, but there was a house party we were going to during COVID. So like, obviously anytime there was like a party, everyone's like, ooh, party, let's go. So we're sitting around and Kenny's like, okay, he's like, I know about this house party. I think they have some porn stars, some flamethrowers, some midgets. Yeah, that's going to be good content. And you just look at like all this like random shit and you're like, boom, video. And like, sure enough, we go to this house party. There's porn stars, flamethrowers, there's midgets. I'm like, okay, clearly we're going to get some good content out of this. But so it was just like, you never knew what was possible, but you knew you were always just like one connection away from doing something dope. And also with it being Vegas, like anything's possible in Vegas.
That literally sounds like Gordon Belfort type of fucking house party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it genuinely, for me, and probably Kenny too, like when I say content house, like that was pretty much what it was, where it was like you had three creatives living under the same roof. How could we not make some dope shit? So then fast forward, Kenny ends up buying an actual house, which is where he's at right now. Chris and him move into that house together. I'm still kind of bouncing around the country. And I was spending so much time in Vegas. I go back for one trip and Kenny just goes, bro, why don't you just fucking move in? Like you're here pretty much 3 weeks out of the month anyways. Like you might as well. I was like, he's got a point. So as soon as my apartment sold, I ended up moving to Vegas. And I mean, that was, dude, Kenny, I can't thank you enough, bro. You taking me in, giving me a house, but also like teaching me what you taught me, networking me, introducing me to so many people who now are still to this day, like good friends in the Vegas area. It's crazy because like, when I say you've literally been like a brother to me, like you show up at my bodybuilding shows, you're always like calling and texting on birthdays and shit. Like you really just always have been there for me. And it's crazy because when I say we met through social media, like, it was literally just a random DM.
Yeah, which is so great. And dude, it does go both ways for sure. Scott's just too humble to ever take the compliment, but he's taught me so much and he's done so much for me that everyone should always want to do everything for you because you're just such a giving and good dude.
I think it comes from like, you know how the people talk about like different love languages? Like I think like acts of service is like what I feel like whole doing, like that fills my cup, you know what I mean? So even like just the other day, I have an athlete who we did like a custom shirt for his pro qualifier coming up. And when I saw, Chris Kessel, Justin. So when I saw Chris tag me in a video yesterday and I saw that genuine smile on his face with how happy he was to receive his own custom athlete shirt with his photo on it, like that's a feeling you can't put a dollar amount to. And so it's like knowing that you're supporting someone else in their passion, it feels so good. So like, yeah, that's just my warm and fuzzy.
It really did make, yeah. Let's get these warm and fuzzy. Now we all come in for a kiss. So, but the interesting part is because I've been on the other side of the spectrum. This is what made me appreciate when you were out here and everything, and how driven and motivated we were to do content, and how important it is to have the right people around you. Because I've been in the other scenarios, with certain relationships where it might be maybe a toxic scenario, or you bring out the bad qualities in each other. Or just the people you're around where, you might inherently become more lazy or less ambitious or wanting to do a lot of things. So when you have those like-minded people, especially in the bodybuilding space, they're also competing and creating content, it's almost like you can bounce off of each other and just excel each other's growth that much more. So, I mean, that's definitely one of the biggest takeaways I've had, over the years is surrounding yourself with the right people and quality people, because it's hard to find nowadays too.
It is, because I think a lot of people are looking at people in the wrong way. It's like, what can you do for me? what are you going to buy me? Where are you going to take me? Shit like that. And like, that's clearly not what any good friendship or relationship is based on.
Right.
I mean, like even going back to Half Wicked, people, I've probably never talked about this, but I want to say like I tried to do that work for free for you because like you insisted on paying me, but I was like, no, like I appreciate the opportunity, you know, because knowing that there was going to be more collaborations between us in the future because we had a good vibe, that I was like, bro, don't worry about it. And you're like, no, I have to pay you. Like you did work for me, I will pay you. So then fast forward, we actually launched the Half Wicked site. And bro, I remember sitting next to you as we saw, I'm not going to say what the numbers were, but when we saw what sales were after day one, we both were like, and
Yeah.
like, it was for me so inspiring because I was like, holy shit, the numbers you hear people talk about on social media that you think are fake, I just witnessed in real life off a website I built with a product you created. I'm like, this is real. Like, this is very attainable. And so for me now with my own stuff, when I see a drop that sells out or numbers that were better than last month, I was like, okay, I was like, this gives me that same feeling like I did when we launched Half Wicked, which, dude, it just seeing what's possible literally opened my mind to so many different opportunities.
And that's the fun part with the entrepreneur life too, is seeing something that you've created or developed or been a part of continue to grow or blossom
Yeah.
into what you had potentially envisioned. And of course, as you know too, with entrepreneur life, it's a lot of trial and error, seeing what works, what doesn't. I mean, I've
Yeah.
definitely had my flop products or like certain things I've done that have been a complete bust. But that's part of the journey and where you learn and grow and adapt from it all.
I just think like for the entrepreneurial journey I'm on myself right now, a lot of the lessons that you maybe didn't even realize you were teaching me, or I just rubbed off from being in such close proximity to you. It's crazy. I mean, again, no one else will know this until now, but even the printer that I use to print my shipping labels off is because you're like, get this one. This is the best one. It's easy. Amazon will have it to you tomorrow. I was like, oh, sick. So it's funny how like having someone like you who's always been able to give me like little nuggets to help me out or just sauce here and there, it's really been beneficial. And I think that behind the scenes, a lot of people would have no idea that that's truly like your character.
A lot of people just think I'm gonna be like, hey, you natty or not?
So the natty or not stuff, like I still hear people walking around the gym just like saying it to other people. And I think it's so funny because it did originate from you. But out of all the people you've ever like created content with or trolled, who would you say, like, can we get like a top 5 list of your top 5 favorite people that you've trolled for natty or not, or fake natty, or just exposing their shit?
I feel like number one on the list has to be Brad Castleberry.
I was gonna say Brad or
Still,
Callie.
I think he still holds king spot for sure. It was just so much fun back in the day, especially when people didn't know who I was in the 2017 area, you know, so I could go to the expos and I'd have a camera, but people would have no idea what to expect. They thought I was
Yeah.
just going to be a fan or something wanting to ask a few questions and then just hit them with, you know, the heavy hitters shit that they can't get themselves out of, almost like a live video. So I miss those days versus now people can see me coming and they can generate a response or have their security or whoever on their team say that they don't want to be on video and all this stuff. So it's a lot more difficult now. But Brad Castleberry, let's put it in number one. Number two, probably Michael Hearn, just because there's a lot of history there.
Yep.
And
But
he's
Mike
always going to
loves
claim
you though.
natty
Like
for the rest of his life.
Mike low key, and we always both said this, is like Mike would be someone who would be so fun just to like hang out with, take him out for the night because like you guys have good chemistry and like deep down I think he really does like you, but like there's so much good chemistry between you guys that like whenever you film together it's just funny.
After we film, we usually kiss off screen. People don't see that part.
Well, that probably leads into number 3,
Yeah,
Cali Muscle.
Number 3, Cali Muscle. Yeah. Actually, let's see. Okay.
Simeon Panda's got to be on there
Panda
too.
is up there. I was saying it's either Simeon and 3 or 4 spot. I guess it could be swapped in and out for him and
Yeah.
Cali in those spots. But I haven't gotten Simeon in a while, but he's just one of those people that's so easy to get under his skin that it generates the best response.
Yeah.
And then after that,
I have a
probably,
question. Does Simeon claim natural still?
oh yeah, bro, it's crazy.
What?
Yeah, no, and even still nowadays, I'll see so many crazy physiques where they claim natural. I'm like, people realize that like times have changed, right? Like it's cool to be transparent
okay to be
now.
honest.
It's fine to be honest now. Like people usually respect it more than just being blatantly lied to in their face.
Yeah.
But I still see the craziest physiques that claim natural. Like Michael Hearn, for instance, he's gonna take it to the grave. I already know.
Even though he represents a testosterone company now.
Which is the crazy. And then he always tells me he's going to release his blood work, but he never releases his blood work.
Still
It's
waiting
been
on the
years.
email.
It's been
Still
years.
waiting on the email.
Yeah, I'm waiting. He has my number and everything. I just sit there all day with my phone in hand, just waiting.
It's
But
so funny.
Like you could even release your blood work, and that's not going to prove if you're not, because like he could just come off
right,
TRT or just be at a TRT, and
right,
like say his numbers, like say his test is at like 500. That's not unreasonable. Like
right.
I know people who are natty who have higher test levels than that. So it's like you could easily fake or just go on TRT or be fake natty for like 3 months, get your labs done, and everything look okay.
For sure.
I
And
mean, I
it's just
think
like,
But it's
oh,
like,
God.
how old is Hearn? Oh, Hearn.
it's got to be 50s, maybe.
Late 40s, mid 50s, like early. There's no way, like, I don't care what your genetics are at that age. There's no way you look like that.
I'm gonna look it up. I'm curious.
I think
How old is Mike O'Hearn?
my guess is mid 50s.
56. Yeah, mid 50s. He was
Yeah.
born January 26, 1969.
Ooh, 69. I mean, regardless, I always tell people, even with Mike O'Hearn, even though I think he's a fake natty and he's blasting gear and he has in the past, he definitely has a crazy physique regardless. Genetics play a factor. And his strength, bro. Some of the numbers that dude's pushing in the gym, like his fucking reverse grip bench and everything, he's doing 405 and all this crazy shit. The dude's a straight tank. But
Either way.
yeah, but definitely a fake natty for sure.
Let me ask you this. Ken, who do you think some of the biggest fake natties are still out there? I mean, I got to be honest, and this, again, it's no shade, but I got to believe Mike Thurston is not natty. There's no way.
Yeah, I think he's dabbled in stuff before.
Yeah.
Maybe nothing crazy. I believe he probably does have some top tier genetics and whatnot that are
Agreed.
phenomenal for bodybuilding. But especially over in the UK and all these places where it's generally legal, I'm pretty sure a lot of places and other places he's been. It's just so uncommon that someone hasn't tried something, especially that's been in the space for so long, as you know.
Well, and that's the thing is like, even when you do have a little bit of progress naturally and you start to look good, that little voice in your head says, okay, but what if I took this and I would look better? Like
Yeah.
it's that little
And I
voice
think
going on.
it always goes a little further too, because when you look at the influencers or the people that make their living strictly off of essentially their physique, Mike Thurston being one of them, there's such a pressure to look a certain way year round where it's almost like to a point where you need performance enhancing substances in order to maintain that look so that you look that way year round for your following and you're able to kind of monetize off of it.
Yeah.
So for him to be natty is just highly unlikely. I'd say there's always a chance. It's probably less than 1% in my opinion, but I mean, there is a chance, I guess.
I would say like, and even still too, his homie, Matt Morcia, Matt does fitness, right? I mean, Matt, if you recall, he went through like all these different testing, protocols with Derek, more plates, more dates. And they determined Matt is a lifetime natural. I don't know how that's even possible to determine if somebody's a lifetime natural, but
Right.
again, like at that time when they were evaluating the blood results, and randomly doing the tests, I mean, yeah, he was passing. So I don't know.
Do you know how long they did those tests over?
I don't know the specifics. I know like
I know
Derek
what you're talking about. Like I remember they had done that. I just can't remember like the span of time over which they did all this blood work.
Yeah. I mean, also too, like genetically speaking, someone like Matt, you look at his brother, his name's Ben, and Ben just posted something the other day, and Ben has a sick physique too. So like, okay, maybe they are just those genetic outliers, which it is possible. Maybe 1% chance.
Right.
But like, again,
What also could be another reason would be, let's say he took a cycle back in the day to reach his genetic potential, which a lot of people do. Maybe they want to get there, and then possibly he came off and he's just kind of maintaining his genetic potential. Got as close as he could to it, and he's just kind of maintaining that. Because I mean, maybe he's made progress, maybe he hasn't. I haven't seen his content in a long time. I think in a couple of years was like the last time I did a video on him. But
yeah. I don't think, and to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of his content either recently. I just recall that he did those blood tests with Derek, and that kind of quote like cleared his name. Which again, respect to anyone who has a good physique. I'm not shitting on them. I just obviously appreciate honesty and transparency because, like you said, when people are trying to leverage their knowledge, their physique for money, and they're not being fully transparent on how they got there, then that's a little shady.
Right. And I also get too, a lot of people make the argument like, why would someone want to tell you if they're natty or not, or why would they want to incriminate themselves? And I always tell people they don't have to tell me what their cycle is. They just have to say yes or no. You know?
Yeah.
It's like
I
they
mean,
can leave that part anonymous. I don't really care to hear like what they're actually on, just as long as they're like, no, I'm natural. Yes, I'm not natural. Or, you know, so it's just there's the transparency, just being honest. You don't have to give me a full breakdown of everything that's been done through the trials of time.
Yeah, like I understand that, and like I have a profession. I mean, well, one, it's illegal, so it's like I'm not
that part.
I'm not gonna like lay it out and give you a list and stuff.
Right.
If you look at me, like I'm not dumb. Like you know, like
Right.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Like that's kind of it's stupid.
You mean creatine didn't get you huge?
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't 6 grams of creatine monohydrate every day.
Shit, I was only doing 5. I was only doing 5.
I think that's the deciding factor right there, bro.
That's
If you
the
just
problem.
jump that to 6,
Yeah, at
that's
least
the
6.
difference. Yeah.
That's why Justin's a pro and I'm still an amateur, because he was doing 6, I'm doing 5. I fucked up.
It's an easy fix though. You'll be there in like, just a couple months.
Yeah, I gotta set my creatine to make up for
Yeah.
sure. Well, so here's the thing though, is that like, again, I really do appreciate people like you in the space, because I do think that a lot of times our industry goes unregulated. And Justin and I were even talking about this, these situations recently with like the ghost coaching, the fake coaching, AI coaching. And that's equally as disingenuous, where it's like, not only are you not doing the work, but you don't even know what these people's protocols look like, because you just literally typed into chat GPT. Okay, Justin Kelly is 5'8", 230 pounds. He's trying to cut. He has 16 weeks. What should his diet look like?
Yeah.
Like that's
Right.
retarded.
I didn't like I have chat GP whatever it's called on my phone. Until you said something like 20 minutes ago, I never even thought to like look up cycles on there. Like a cycle. Like
Oh,
I
bro.
look up information on there, but I've never thought like, oh, chat GPT, like create a cycle for a 5'8" male, 230 bulking. Like that didn't even cross my mind. I don't know if I'm just stupid or if that's like because I don't that is absolutely like disingenuous.
I will tell you something right now. Chat GPT has been running my entire life for the last 6 months. Not even
Kenny
kidding, bro.
is the
Chat
big cat
GPT,
guy.
I'm telling you, you can take over the world with Chat GPT. I
What-
wish I had this tool earlier.
Can you disclose what things you like to use chat GPT for? Is that top secret?
Bro, you could literally utilize it for anything. If you're wanting to start a business, it can give you a full blueprint of every single step that needs to get done and how to accomplish every single one of those tasks to do what you want to do. For instance, if you want to start some new business that sells, I mean, I'm just spitballing random fucking ideas, but like military ammo to the US government, and you buy from, they'll give you the exact breakdown of every single piece of property, what is being paid versus like cost breakdowns of certain ammo for certain countries. The things you can do with ChatGPT, the limits are endless. You can do essentially anything.
Absolutely been underusing or underestimating it because like I'll do it like if the Google search I don't want to waste time like Google searching something that I have to like click on multiple links and kind of cross-reference information and verify. I'll just be like, give me a full summary of this thing, and I feel like that's drastically
and it's actually scary how accurate it is about everything. Which, I mean, it makes sense. It's artificial intelligence. It's going to be smarter than any human could ever possibly be. And that's, I think, that why we've advanced so much over the last, even just the last couple of years, is like AI is just insane.
I guess I need to start utilizing it a little bit more. I'm not writing programs.
No, let this be your, I mean, fuck it, do it, honestly. Like that shit, I'm not even kidding. ChatGPT is fucking crazy. Like it can get down every single mathematical equation that we can't even comprehend. Like you can push it, the sky's the limits with it.
That's funny. That's funny.
The,
I got a new business. I got a new business venture I'll tell you guys about. It's not what you guys are going to expect, but obviously the price of eggs is through the roof. And today I was training one of my clients who was texting a tattoo artist she knows. I guess he lives over in, it's called Wickenburg. It's like 30 minutes east of where I'm at right now. It's like a farm community. But anyways, bro has 30 chickens. He said a dozen eggs for $4.99. Bro, I'm about to buy me a chicken.
Dude,
it could be a good business right now, honestly.
I'm saying. gonna buy a
Wait,
chicken.
don't they lay like a couple eggs a day too, or something like that?
I gotta do more research on this, but I'm gonna buy a chicken. I'm gonna name him Chicken Little, and then I'm gonna get my eggs delivered every week, and I'm gonna sell them out of my gym, and I'm gonna make bank.
And then watch, as soon as you get this all operational, the price of eggs is gonna drop back down or some bullshit.
Dude, you know what's crazy? Can one of you guys tell me this, explain this to me? I'm not the smartest person in the room, but if eggs are scarce and so expensive, wouldn't like chicken breast, chicken thigh, like chicken wings, wouldn't that also be expensive and going into somewhat limited quantities?
Dude, we've been having a really hard time getting egg whites. I don't think the price
Egg whites too, yeah.
egg whites it's been really hard to get egg whites lately.
Well, I'm just trying to, the age-old question, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Mm-hmm.
But if there's an egg shortage, then wouldn't there be a chicken shortage?
Makes sense. And I think part of the egg shortage.
Maybe it's not real chicken.
Yeah, there's something there.
Yeah.
But I think they had there's that bird flu scare, and they killed like hundreds of millions of chickens to like prevent the avian bird flu from spreading. And I think that's part of like the egg white shortage. But I haven't had a problem getting chicken breasts, so I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the correlation. And as someone who eats a lot of eggs, egg whites, and chicken, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how can we not have one, but the other like price is still the same? Doesn't make sense.
The only thing I'm thinking off the top of my head is maybe there's more usage of eggs than there is of the whole chicken, of like chicken breasts. You know what I mean? Like more people consume egg product than they do the actual chicken.
Someone said something
So
to
there'd
me
be more of a shortage of the eggs. But I don't know. That's a good question though. Maybe the price of chicken has chicken gone up?
No, I think
chicken
chicken
breast?
stayed the same.
About
I
the
haven't
same?
noticed an increase on it. But someone said to me something that kind of made sense. They said, well, maybe there's chickens that are only for laying eggs, and then chickens that are only for like, we know we're going to slaughter them and eat them. So maybe there's two different kinds of chickens.
Well, you do have like male.
Well, you have
chickens.
male, female.
Yeah.
Oh,
How many
no.
does it take to figure out?
Unless a rooster like identifies as a female chicken.
Wait, wait, the male chickens don't lay eggs, and I eat the male chicken. It's kind of gay. No, I'm just kidding. Can I not eat the female chicken? How do I know?
It's a ladyboy. It's a ladyboy chicken, so you're okay.
It's a ladyboy.
You just didn't know. You didn't know.
Listen, what'd you say, Justin?
It ain't gay for straight.
Kenny, I got a question for you. Because obviously like a lot of your content is still based around like fitness and gym type of content or related topics. What is one of the most cringe gym trends you've seen recently that you just like can't stand?
I feel like anytime there's the TikTokers or something doing like the dances in the gym,
Kills me.
that's probably the one. Everything else, I'm kind of fine with it, just because I mean, you know how I am. I've been doing content for so long now. I know people probably cringe at a lot of the shit I've done in the gym, so I can't really criticize a lot of people for the shit they do in the gym. Maybe the people that I guess the whole Joey Swole thing, he calls the people out for bad gym etiquette or getting upset when people walk in front of their tripods and whatnot. That's a public space. So
Yeah,
I guess the people that try and flame other people in the gym, that's the cringe ones, I would say, that stand out most to me.
I would say for me, the most cringe thing I see in the gym is when people have poor form and like, I want to walk over and be like, hey bro, you're doing this wrong. Can I help you? But I know that's so rude, so I don't ever do it. But it literally for me is like nails on a chalkboard. When I see somebody just doing an exercise so blatantly wrong, it just is like, oh, it pains me to watch. So that's probably like one cringy, or I wouldn't say that's a trend, but I guess
The real question is, do you correct them though?
No, I
Or
never
you just
will.
let them continue to do it wrong?
I let them just keep being idiots, because if they're not a client of mine, I almost feel like it's rude for me to walk over and be like, hey bud, you're doing this wrong. Like, and there's a nicer way to say that, but like, I don't ever want to be that person who acts like they know more than somebody. Like if someone comes up to me and is like, hey, can you check my form? Or, hey, do you think this is relevant? Like this makes sense. I'll give my advice. But like, I would say the trend for me that's bothersome is like people using machines, not how they're intended to be used. So like you see people like using hack squat machines opposite ways. And I'm like,
wait, so I'm not supposed to do bicep curls in the hamstring machine?
There you go. Like it's so cringe. So cringe. What's yours, Dustin? What's the cringy gym trend that you can't stand?
I pulled it up on my phone. So do you
He has,
guys
he
remember?
has like a perfect example ready to go.
Yeah, when you asked about it, I was like, oh, I got something.
Let's
So
hear
I
it.
mean, caveat, like at the end of the day, like I see it and I'm like, what the fuck? But I'm like, you know what? It doesn't affect me, so just chill. But do you guys remember growing up, girls would wear those like brown, like leatherish kind of slides? Like
Birkenstocks.
yeah, yeah. So
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. We used to wear those like at summer camp.
Wait, don't they still wear them at the gym?
People that
that's the thing. These oh
yes,
wait, I don't
it's
I think I know exactly what you're talking about.
I can tell you why they're popular.
it's not showing up on my end.
I
But
know I know what it is. It's those like they're clogs basically.
yeah, I don't know how to like get my camera to focus.
Oh, there we go. There
Oh,
it is.
actually, wait, I know one. The pajamas in the gym.
Uh,
Those
Yeah.
teenagers that are rocking their pajama bottoms in the gym.
I always wonder, I'm like, don't you want to like look halfway presentable? Like you look like you belong, you know.
okay, I'll tell you right now why that became a trend. And once I say it, you're like, yep, makes sense.
The clog shoe things.
Chris Bumstead wore clogs like that one time in one YouTube video, and now everyone's wearing them.
Interesting. Is that actually what started that?
I swear to God in my life, like if you watch, this is probably one of his old prep vlogs when he's posting consistently, but Chris shows up to the gym one day and he's wearing those clogs, and I guarantee Birkenstocks fucking sales went through the roof the moment everyone's like, oh, Chris is wearing these, they must be the best shoes ever.
Whoever does their
exactly
analytics was probably watching, just like, wait, what happened on this day? They're probably still trying to figure out what exactly happened to cause this massive increase in sales.
No, it's so funny how, I mean, like whether it was Chris setting the trend with the mustache or Chris setting the trend with the mullet, like if Chris says it's cool, everyone follows. And I guarantee, because had Chris have never put those shoes have been around forever. I was wearing when I was like 13. They were trendy then, but they completely disappeared. But like take something stupid like Ed Hardy, right? Like no one wears Ed Hardy. I guarantee if C-Bum put on an Ed Hardy shirt today, tomorrow, everyone's buying it.
Oh,
Dude,
for sure.
what is the movie? Billy Madison, when he pees his pants and Billy's trying to make him feel better, and he like splashes water on his crotch too, and he's like, peeing his pants is cool. Like if Chris Bumstead did that, kids would piss their pants in the gym.
Literally.
For sure, though.
It's cool, I guess, that Chris has such like a grasp on the industry where like people are inspired by everything he does. But at a certain point, like I hate to break it to you guys, wearing those clogs in the gym is not going to make you a 6-time Mr. Olympia. Just saying.
So you're saying I should make a return on these 4 pairs I just bought?
I'm telling you, bro, after we saw what Sam Sulek did for the entire bodybuilding, just culture,
Wait, have you guys talked on the podcast about the whole Sam Sulek thing?
a little bit. Yeah, we kind of mentioned him here and there.
Do you think he deserved the pro card?
Yes, for the pro card. Overall, no. Justin's saying no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, because wait, you need the overall for the pro card though, right?
Yeah,
No.
that's what I thought.
I think at the Arnold class winners win their pro card. So he would.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the overall.
Is it
Arnold? I think you have to win the overall. I'm pretty sure.
Well, so here's my take on it is,
so essentially he wouldn't have got his pro card if he didn't win the overall.
I think he would have, because I still know he won his class, but like I think you and I were sharing the video, and I know Justin and I shared it. There was, I want to say he was Asian and bald is all I really remember. Mm-hmm. And when you see these guys side by side for the overall, you're like, okay, this was definitely a political move to give Sam the overall, because no, he did not deserve the overall.
Yeah, because I thought he looked great. I mean, I guess it could be argued either way. I did think that other dude had better conditioning and should have probably maybe out-edged Sam a little bit for the pro card. But I also get too, a lot of people have to think the NPC and IFBB, it's a business. And what's the best business move? Obviously having Sam Sulek win and be the face of the Arnold. You know?
But that's what I'm saying, Ken. You could be that next wave. You can literally inspire a whole generation.
I'm not even in the same. No, me and Sam ain't
right
in the same.
Maybe it's the
same league. Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Justin?
I was just gonna say I agree. I think he won his class. I thought that was reasonable. I don't think he should have won the overall. And if you had to win an overall for a pro card, then no, I don't think he deserved the pro card. Because the other guys in the overall, I thought they looked better. In it, I wasn't there in person, and it's you know how it is in bodybuilding. If you're not there in person, it is hard to say sometimes, because
for sure
pictures are just a moment in time. It doesn't capture everything. But based on what I saw on Instagram, I think he deserved a class win, but not the overall.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking too.
He
Yeah,
looked
I mean,
he looked awesome.
Yeah,
And
it still looked phenomenal, especially for no coach and everything too. I was like, that's pretty actually
I'm not
remarkable.
even like trying to bash him. Like he accomplished something amazing either way. So
Right.
it's
That's
super
correct.
cool because like, and Justin and I talked about this before. Obviously, like to win at any level obviously takes a very strong belief in yourself or just to be successful in anything. So obviously, like he had that mindset and that willpower, which is obviously very inspiring for a lot of like the younger generation. But also, again, there's this huge gap between like, again, he's now a 2-show pro, which is so rare in our industry that like, yeah, he inspired a lot of kids to get on stage, but they're in for a rude awakening because, and this will kind of segue into another thing we can talk about, but I mean, I oftentimes compare bodybuilding to boxing, which is one of those things like everyone wants to be a fighter until they step in the ring. And then you get punched in the face and you're like, whoa, maybe this isn't for me. And it's the same thing where I've had clients who say, oh, I'm going to do a show. I want to be a bodybuilder. And what happens? They come and train with a bodybuilder and they get put in check real quick. And they're like, wait, this is what it takes to build muscle. This is holy shit. I'm not ready for that, you know? So I don't know. I think that a lot of people will have that realization, even though they're motivated by Sam, but like, they ain't going to get up there and win their first show and then get a pro card in their second show. I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Bro, still one of the craziest body. Did you ever get to see Andrew Jacked in person, Scott?
I've never seen Andrew Jacked in person, but I want to because he looks fucking
He was by far in person one of the most insane bodybuilders I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just because he's such a massive dude, but he's still tall. Like, no lie. I mean, not to glaze fucking him so hard, but he's fucking like a specimen, bro. That guy is insanely massive.
Yeah, dude, I can see like, one of the dog's tails wagging in the background. Who is it? Is it Barry or Benny?
Yeah, here's Barry. So what's
Barry.
up, Scott?
What's up, bud?
Yeah.
Dude, it's so funny because whenever we do these podcasts, I'll go into this little lounge area that's like down the hall from my unit because if I'm in my unit, my dog would literally be sitting on my lap the whole time, just like in the frame because she's so fucking annoying. And like,
sounds like a vibe.
I mean, honestly, like
the Alani show.
But like sometimes when you're doing work, it's so unproductive when you have like this 20-pound fucking bulldog in your lap. So wait, kind of like we were talking about though, where I said sometimes I'll compare bodybuilding to boxing. So that was also another chapter that I got to experience with you. Are you still boxing at all or training?
You know what's interesting? I've been seeing the whole KSI Dylan Dennis. I don't know if you even knew that was going on, but I see them doing like the press conferences and whatnot. It'd be fun to get a fitness side of it going. They had an offer that went out. Trying to blank on his name, but the one dude wanted to box me. It's gonna be some like small event in the fitness, but if we could get some big event to happen where there's some fights that make sense, I'd probably train for it and get back into it.
Yeah.
There's just no reason right now that, I mean, I'm sure as you know too, with boxing and bodybuilding, they just don't really go together. You just, it's far too much cardio and output to gain any type of muscle. You're just gonna lose. I lose all my weight as soon as I start to box.
Well, I got some pretty close friends who are fighting on that Misfits card. If you want me to connect the dots, Ken, I think we could probably get you on one of those upcoming Misfits to Zone events.
Because I think for me, like one of the things that makes or would be the most beneficial is just something entertaining that I know people would want to watch. You know, like me versus Brad Cassavery, me versus Wes Watson, or like me versus Cali Muscle. You know, like something crazy where there's some hype behind it and people want to see either one of us. You know,
the hardest
comes out
thing
on top.
Well, I know you've issued a few challenges like you just mentioned. Actually, Justin, you'll laugh at this. So we were talking about the Wes Watson arrest, which is obviously still an ongoing investigation. There's John Bravo doing the Lord's work out here with these documentary style pieces. But what I was going to say is, yeah, Kenny actually issued a challenge to Wes Watson to box him. But again, a lot of people aren't going to take Kenny up on this offer because when they realize his size alone, like, again, I don't know if Wes Watson's 5'4" or 5'8". Either way, I know Kenny's bigger. So I'm like, dude, when he sees you in real life, he's going to be like, oh shit.
I actually need to see the new updates that happened with him. Isn't it like, I've just been seeing snippets. He got police or his body cam footage or something, and he's in some shit, going back to jail or something. I've just been seeing the thumbnails, so I need to catch up.
Yeah, John Bravo's got like the body cam footage. Bro is like a straight investigative journalist at this point for the fitness industry, and he's doing good work. It's entertaining. But I was joking the other day. I was like, I wonder how many views John Bravo's pulled off of Wes Watson's name alone in the last like 4 months. Like millions.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's definitely in the millions number. He could definitely find out. We should ask him.
Well, shit, I don't know.
Hey,
Maybe.
John, if you're watching, how many? But well done. Very well
I just
done.
love how every video he starts off with, he's like, Wes Watson, that piece of shit.
Yeah, it became like a catchphrase.
Yeah. No, but I'll tell you what.
That's always the best though, how the catchphrases start. They're always unintentional. Like for
Yeah.
instance, I remember my Brad Castleberry one, like the shirts off, pants down. It was
Oh my
literally
God.
it literally started my slogan just because he'd pull his shirt off and pull it or take his shirt off, pull his pants down every single fucking video he'd film of himself. And it was so cringe
Boom.
that then it became just a catchphrase, you know? So
But
it's
hey,
funny how those
remember he would hit you with the boom too. Boom.
yeah. So the whole like piece of shit thing is so funny because I know
What
that
is that
probably
guy?
started just because he said it just as a reaction to Wes Watson.
Yeah. What'd you say, Justin?
What is that guy Brad up to these days? Is he still like trying to be someone?
Dude, I'll tell you what, I saw him pop up on my Instagram feed today of all days when I knew we were filming this podcast, which is fucking hilarious. But the point in that being is it was a throwback video of him with like maybe 6 or 7 plates per side doing an overhead press. And the only thing that comes to my mind is fake weight.
Instantly no other thought. No. It's kind of, I feel bad for him that that's what he's kind of associated with now, but it was, you know, you make your own bed and you lie in it. So,
Like,
No,
dude,
for sure.
the dude was jacked. It's like you didn't have to like lie and do that. Like you had a physique.
and he was also strong. Like, I know he was a strong dude. He was definitely gonna be putting up numbers. He didn't have to do this whole facade of trying to be the strongest man in the world, you know?
Yeah, like when you like we know if the literally the world's strongest men aren't benching that weight for that many reps, then you're not. Like you're jacked at, I don't know how big like what he weighed, but like let's say 240 and jack, like you're not benching 7 plates for reps.
Yeah, no.
Like at least make it believable. Like, you could maybe add 90 pounds to your total or something and it'd be believable, but like no one's hitting sets of 15 with 7 plates for bench press. Like that's not believable.
One of my
Well,
biggest regrets is I always wish I could have actually got him to somehow, this would have never happened, but commit to trying to prove the lift like Heba Ali did, you know, with the wall sit. Because it would have been, I mean, we might have witnessed a death possibly, you know, he might have like collapsed under the weight, but it would have been the craziest video to see him actually attempt some of the lifts that he, you know, claims to have done.
well, what Brad like doesn't realize, and a lot of these guys who like are topics of conversation, whether it's a Wes Watson or even a Mike Israetel, when people are making videos on you, it's only going to benefit you. You know what I mean? And most of the time, it's not coming from a place of genuine hatred.
Am I the only one that simply freezing up on?
What's that? Did you freeze up? Yeah, I think it's just you. We might
But
have lost.
no, oh, we lost Justin?
Hold on.
Oh, unless he's really good at holding the face.
He is really good at posing, so maybe
Yeah, he's nailed the posing down, I think.
Yeah, I think wait, I think we lost Justin. We'll get him back in a second. We'll keep going. But what I was gonna say is that what a lot of these guys don't realize is when you're making videos on them, I mean, it's only doing more for their brand than it would have before. Like you're giving them exposure and giving them a limelight. Oh,
Yeah, and
Justin's back. There
it's
we go.
definitely giving them I guess a way to either confess or what a lot of them don't realize is they could kind of almost grow from the situations when I'm calling them out.
Yeah.
Because if they just opened up about it, then not only are they getting more exposure, but then they're getting the respect for owning up to their mistakes and trying to right their wrongs or something. But the only problem with the social media space, especially in the fitness scene, is these people always have the biggest egos out of anyone that they never want to be wrong or
Mhm.
exposed for certain things they're doing. So they never fess up or confess to what they've done. They double down, triple down, as you've seen with the fake natties and whatnot, you know, they'll take it to the grave. So it's just wild to see though that, you know, some people have such a hard time just being transparent and like growing from a situation rather just continue to lie their way down the road.
Yeah, that's facts. All right, I got a few more for you today, and then we'll kind of wrap up. But so I know a while ago you were supposed to do a guest appearance on the Whatever podcast. So my question for you is, what are your thoughts on the whole red pill manosphere space?
I mean, I get there's a market for it for sure. You know, Andrew Tate and, you know, some of the other influencers, I think, kind of opened up the space for the whole men taking power back thing. But people also have to realize, I mean, the adult scene, like sex worker or adult, you know, kind of workspace just in general has been around essentially forever. You know, back in the day, there were the whorehouses and all this crazy stuff. So it's not like it's gonna go away. It's not gonna change. Just times have changed. You know, it's all social media asset now. I mean, almost everyone has an OnlyFans. I feel like nowadays, every
I,
girl.
s- I saw this meme and it was like, remember back in the day when there was that hot girl in high school?
So
You
I guess the
wanted.
same thing. So the point I'm making is there's a market for it. So why would they not make that type of content? You know, if there's gonna be an audience for it that wants to see that content, I get why they're making the content.
Yeah, I get it. And I mean, my take on it is I think a lot of it just comes down to like having old school or like just like very wholesome morals and beliefs where like, okay, if I'm dating a girl, she shouldn't be acting like a hoe. That should go without saying.
Mhm.
I would prefer my girl doesn't have an OnlyFans. I know we've talked about this offline. But just like it's one of those things where like some of the takes I think are just like rage bait for social media where it's like I can't even recall like any of them off the top of my head, but like for the most part, I think the underlying like theme is that, traditional relationships, marriage, shit like that. So I mean, it's just the way it comes across sometimes where you're like, yo, what the fuck did they just say? That was crazy.
And it's just become so common now. I mean, with social media, I think relationships just inherently are hard now because a
Yeah.
lot of people just have so many options with social media and think the grass is greener. And a lot of people are ultimately just wanting attention, you know, or to gain something off of someone. So I don't know. The dating scene's kind of interesting. That's why, Justin, I respect you being in a relationship. Well done.
I mean, like Justin's in a very happy, healthy, supportive relationship, and me and Kenny are still floating
Because
around
that's
in this
hard. That's hard to
toxic
find,
space.
especially in Vegas. If you're out in Vegas or Arizona, where are you at, Justin?
I'm in St. Louis.
No, see, yeah, you got away from all this this negative shit that's out here.
I haven't been into any parties with porn stars or flying.
I mean, it was fun, don't get me wrong, but you weren't
I'm
missing
sure
out.
it was
Dude,
fun.
speaking of that night, do you remember, Kenny, what that night we were at that house party? We ended up in that like RV with like the dude in the bed,
Oh
all the
yeah,
dildos on the
yeah.
wall. What the fuck was
Oh
that? That was
yeah.
like we walked into this RV that was parked outside of this house party we were at. And as soon as we walked in, it was like this random hippie like sex dungeon. And we all kind of just like paused, looked at each other, and were like, yeah, that's our cue. We gotta go.
Bro, I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to find that footage. That shit was
Dude,
fucking bonkers, bro.
me
Oh
and
my
Kenny,
God.
like when I
that's
say,
some weird shit.
dude, literally,
Like
yeah,
a sex tape.
dude, listen,
Dude, we
when
had some crazy shit
I,
happen. Or putting the fireworks like under the bathroom door with like Crispy in there, and then there's just fireworks launching off in the bathroom. Oh my God, that shit was
okay.
crazy.
So there was still a little phase when we were living together where Kenny, we would throw like some prank stuff in there. And I remember this was right around the time when Cardi B WAP came out. And Kenny and I, we go to Walmart and he finds like this sweet little Asian greeter who barely speaks English. And with a dead ass straight face, he goes, yeah, hi, I was wondering where I can find some WAP. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, yeah, the WAP, is it like aisle 5, aisle 6? And like, we're literally filming this, standing like 2 aisles over, just listening to audio, dying laughing. And this woman's so confused. Bro's over here asking for wet ass pussy. And she's like, I'm sorry, I don't think we sell that here.
I'm pretty sure you sell it here. For
Dude,
sure.
yeah, when Kenny and I get in a room together, sometimes we're just like a couple of schoolgirls. And I think because we're both so creative, the ideas get a little carried away sometimes, but it definitely made for some funny ass stories.
It was some funny ass times for sure, bro. Now you just reminded me though that fucking RV. I'm about to try and find that
Bro,
footage.
wait. When we were talking about the red pill and manosphere shit, how about this? Do you remember we went to that brothel to buy fireworks?
Yeah, unfortunately the brothel was closed though. That shit
Brothel was
that would have
closed.
been a crazy popping video though for
Dude,
sure.
I don't even remember, like, we basically went on like this little mini road trip one night. And like, when I say Kenny's dad, Kenny's like, all right, kids, hop in the car. We're going for a road trip. So Kenny, we all hop in his truck. And like, whenever I was in Kenny's truck, I don't know if I just have narcolepsy or it was so comfortable, but I would always fall asleep. So like, there would be times we'd be driving and they would just start screaming like we were getting into like a car accident and like freak me the fuck out. Or like, anyways, so he didn't even tell me where I think we were going. He just goes, we're going to the middle of nowhere to buy fireworks. I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever. And this was during COVID. So we end up in this road trip. I fall asleep in the back seat. I wake up and we're randomly at like some fireworks stop and a brothel in some random fucking middle of nowhere in Vegas. I'm like, what are we doing?
Oh, if only they would have been open, bro. We would have had some crazy stories. This shit would have been
I
a wild time.
I can only imagine had the brothel have been open. All right, let's do a few more and then we'll wrap for today.
Hey, who knows? Maybe that would have been what was the deciding factor. Maybe I would be on OnlyFans, you know? Crazy how certain things happen for certain
Life could have been
situations.
such a different direction.
You
know
know,
what,
my
Kenny?
life might have taken a turn in a different direction at that point if they would have been open. Who knows?
For all we know, you already are on OnlyFans. We just got to find the tattoos.
Link it up, sync them up.
I mean, you wouldn't be the first fitness influencer with an OF, that's for sure.
That's true. A little G for P too. That's
Oh my
notorious in this
God.
scene.
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic we ain't getting into. All right, we'll do a few more for today. Now, I know Kenny's diet is probably, Justin, I don't know if you follow Kenny on Instagram, but Kenny's diet is atrocious. This dude eats cereal, ice cream, like, and when I
Actually,
say,
wait. Just because you're talking about it. Look at this.
You
This is
eating
my
right now?
dinner. This is my dinner, right? Some goldfish and a monster.
and when I say how Kenny has built a physique off of goldfish and energy drinks, it's crazy because he really does still have a great physique. But when you look at his food consumption, and as long as I lived with him, I think I've cooked more meals in your house than you've cooked in your house.
Oh no, that's facts. Still, even after all the years you being gone, you probably
Literally.
still have cooked more, 100%.
What's like, okay, so what's your, and I'm not even gonna call it a cheat meal because every meal's a cheat meal for you, but
Right.
what's your, if you could only have like one thing, what's your go-to? What's your favorite food?
Last meal.
Has to be a pizza, I think.
Pizza?
Pizza's just always gonna slap for me.
Yeah.
Like, even multiple times a week. It has to be pizza. Either that or maybe some bomb Mexican food or something.
What okay, and I know you also got a sweet tooth too. So what's
For sure.
best candy and worst candy?
Oh, that's a tough one. Best candy, I mean, Sour Patch is up there for sure. Any of the Sour Patch. That's gonna be for sure in my top. Worst candy. I'm not a big fan of the Mexican candy, to be honest.
Oh, with like the tahini and shit?
Yeah. I don't know why. Maybe it's just an acquired thing. I just have never enjoyed it. I know some people rave about it, but just never been it for me.
I've
Justin,
never had, but I feel like candy shouldn't be. Is that tahini stuff spicy like a little
yeah,
bit?
it's got a kick to it.
Yeah, it's like a spice, lemony kind of. I don't know. It's just kind of bizarre for me.
I've never had, but I don't feel like candy should be spicy.
It's a Hispanic thing for sure. And they'll put like chamoya, which is like this little like red sauce on it to make it stick. And then it's just like, I don't know, it's all gooey and gross. I mean, I've had it before. It's not my favorite. It's not my least favorite either. But I would say for me, number one has got to be Reese's. Anything Reese's, just like you can't beat chocolate and peanut butter.
Yeah, facts.
Dude, the Reese's like a holiday, like eggs or football.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, those are the ones,
Butter
100%.
like changes, so the eggs are so good.
Those somehow do taste better, actually. I don't know why, but
I think it's like more peanut butter. Just the ratio of peanut butter and chocolate's
Yeah.
different than a normal cup.
But I'll tell you,
think
I'll tell you
so.
what the worst candy is. Fucking Mike and Ike's. That shit is disgusting. Anyone who likes
Okay.
black licorice, just kill yourself. You have no taste buds. That is fucking gross.
Wait, the Mike and Ike's like the colored tamale
Like,
ones, right?
Not the
Basically.
Mike and Ike's, the colored ones. They make like a black licorice flavor one.
Oh,
It's
really?
like oh, maybe they're called Good and Plenty. Maybe I confused them, but they're in like a pink, white, and black box, and it's black licorice flavor, and it tastes like shit. If you enjoy the taste of black licorice, like I don't think we can be friends.
You know what's interesting? My grandma always liked black licorice. I've never met a single other person that liked it, and I don't know how people like it.
Dude, it literally tastes. You know what it kind of
I
tastes
haven't
like?
tried it in so long. I'm actually kind of tempted. Like that would have been a funny video to go try some black licorice right
Yo,
now.
you know what it tastes like? It kind of tastes like liquid MK.
It's like, put SARMs into candy form. There you go. There's some black licorice for you.
Hey, hit up Max Tuning. You make
Yeah.
the next sour strips.
I crush up some Anavar on top of the soft packets.
Yeah, it'd be like a little sugar sprinkle.
Justin, what's your least favorite candy?
The first thing that comes to mind is like Almond Joy or Mounds. I'm not like a coconut person. I don't really. So I don't know.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't buy those either if I were like in line shopping for candy bars. Not at the top of my list.
Like I have a sweet tooth, but I never eat like I almost never eat candy. Like if I'm gonna eat something sweet, it's like frozen yogurt or donuts or like something like that. Like
Yeah, you love donuts.
I never buy like candy bar type food though.
Well, you've probably never had Pink Box, huh? Or have you?
I actually have. I
You
competed.
did, yeah. We
Oh.
had Pink Box. We had Pink Box.
Actually, I've been to Vegas I think 2 or 3 times now, and I've had it twice.
Oh hell yeah.
So
So
we
That's the spot.
we went to Pink Box during Olympia and we picked up donuts for Justin's girl Liz. So when she got off stage, we had maybe like 2 dozen. But like when I say like, you know how bodybuilders are, like when we have that rare refeed, that rare cheat meal, of course we stock a menu ahead of time. So like literally we're sitting in the hotel room, we're like, okay, we got to get 2 of this one, 2 of that one of those. Like, and so like, dude, but I'm not gonna lie, like Kenny, you know, I don't have the biggest sweet tooth or I don't really eat like shit often, but like every once in a while I'll indulge. And bro, I'm not even gonna lie, dude, these donuts from Pink Box, as you know, are 10 out of 10.
Oof.
Yeah, they were
Speaking of which, might have to go scoop some.
Kenny's like, you know, actually, I think I should go get some donuts tonight. And maybe
Speaking
some
of which, dinner is calling.
Yeah. All right. We'll do a couple more and then we'll go. But while we're on the topic of best and worst foods, I know you're a big cereal guy. So what is your best and worst cereal?
Ooh. I feel like some Cinnamon Toast Crunch is up there for best.
Yeah, that's number 1 for me too.
It's pretty fire. That's a hard one to beat. Worst, trying to think which one I actually despise.
You know what?
I mean, maybe like some that really bland or yeah, super bland, like the flake one, you know what I'm talking about? Like a bran flake.
Bran flakes?
Is that it? Like a corn flake, but it's like a bran one.
Raisin bran?
But it doesn't have the raisins in it. It's just literally the like
It's just the
yeah.
bran.
And it's just like it's like eating cardboard with your milk, you know? I don't know how people do that. That's probably gotta be the worst one for me.
You wanna know what the worst cereal is for me? And of course, I'm a gym bro, so of course I'm walking through the cereal aisle and I'm like, oh my God, Premier Protein, they make protein cereal now? Let's try it. Dude, so I get the chocolate one. You think that Raisin Bran or Bran Flakes is bad? Dude, this shit was even worse. Like
Really?
cardboard and like the worst chocolate flavor ever. And I'm like, okay, like I'm literally getting 12 grams of protein, but I'm eating dog shit. Like, fuck that.
And that was just at the grocery store?
Dude, yeah, it's they probably have it at wherever you're shopping too.
I mean, it's probably not worth buying, I guess, if you're saying it's that bad. So
dude, it was priced more expensive because it has protein in it. But like when you look at what the serving is, the dose of protein per serving, you're like, okay, 1, this isn't relevant, and 2, it tastes like shit. So like literally I had 1 bite of it, I dumped the fucking bowl out, threw the box of cereal out, I was like, I will never eat this shit again.
You just gotta make a protein shake and use that as the milk with with a good cereal. With
true.
Punch with either you can get
oh yeah, bro. If you did like a cinnamon whey protein or something with a milk and then put that in the Cinnamon Toast Crunch, that'd be fire.
Yeah, that's probably true. I know it's getting late, Ken. I appreciate you coming on. We'll
of course, bro.
have to run this back again. I know it's like Justin and I joke how like I haven't even picked up my camera to do vlog content since I started doing the podcast, because I would rather just have conversations like this that are real, genuine, and actually provide value to people versus me like, what's up, guys? Welcome back to a fuck that shit.
No, for sure though, bro. I feel you too.
But let me ask you. I mean, you kind of touched on it earlier. What's next for you? Because obviously, like you're constantly evolving. So right now, you're obviously focused on getting into the streaming. But what's next for kind of content, life stuff? You getting more dogs? You gonna go to more raves? What's on the menu?
So let's see. I cut back on the raves a little bit. I did go hard this last weekend, but just the risk to reward, you know, now being in the mosh pits and whatnot, if I get injured, I'm kind of cooked. So it's a lot harder to recover now.
Yeah.
Cutting those back. No more dogs for now. 2's plenty. Definitely keeps my schedule more full than it should be.
What about what's next for Half Wicked?
Half Wicked, that's what I was about to jump into. We'll be adding some new products. I'm always like to push the limits, you know, what I can get away with. So we'll definitely have some crazy stuff coming. I know I'll have to get you some more Tadalafil out there for sure.
Bro,
game changer.
Okay, I've been telling everybody, and I'm still waiting for you to make me a code because I will happily promote it. But dude, last time I was in Vegas, Kenny's like, hey, what do you want for pre-workout? And I go, what are you taking? And so he's like, yeah, usually I just do like a scoop of this and 5 milligrams Cialis. And I was like, shut the fuck up. And he goes, have you ever tried it? I go, no. So we went to the gym that day, and I think I told you the whole time I'm like hitting shoulders. I'm just like looking in the mirror. I'm like, do I feel different? Do I have more of a pump? But I probably didn't notice it for the first couple lifts, but I told Kenny, I was like, dude, Cialis, like 5 milligrams pre-workout is a fucking game changer. It almost feels like similar to how your pumps would on Anavar, but obviously like I would say it's probably not as long of lasting as an ester. And obviously if you're utilizing it for other performance enhancing things, you're not going to get popped for it. Or or if you're looking for a different kind of pump, you're gonna up the dose. But dude, Kenny, I texted him the other day and I was like, bro, the workouts have been insane the last month because obviously I'm not running anything else. So that's just like a small little cherry on top for every single one of my workouts, which thank you, Ken.
Bro, it's such a biohack. I'm surprised everybody's not really utilizing fucking tadalafil, to be honest.
Yeah, I was surprised when you said you had never tried it. Like, I don't do it regularly, but I definitely tried it.
Yeah. When
Bro, you should definitely even utilize
say it
it
again.
regularly because your body doesn't desensitize to it. And then there's actual like heart benefit. There's a lot of other benefits other than just like bringing down blood pressure and allowing the vessels to relax more. So it's just like a good, not daily, but maybe every other day, I would say, dosage protocol where it's just optimal.
Even if I just use it on training days, I train 4 days a week right now. So it's not even like, a crazy amount.
Right. And then it's like you also get the benefits in the gym and then also the bedroom, so it's like what guy wouldn't want that? Like you get better lifts and you get better lifts and afterwards. So
yeah, no, it
doesn't take much to convince me.
Yeah, Justin, we'll have to send you a bottle too and get your customer review on that. Let us know what you think.
If you tell me to help with the gym, I'm probably gonna do it. And then double in the bedroom, yeah, for sure.
It was funny because
you got a code?
What? Yeah, code Coach Kelly, code Justin, Dr. J. Well, no, it's funny because a doctor who's been doing my blood work since 2018 out here, she called me one time and she goes, hey, just want to make sure everything's good with you. I actually think I have a way for you to increase your pumps in the gym. And I was like, okay, I'm listening. And she's like, have you ever tried Cialis? And I was like, whoa, pause. I was like, doc, I can tell you right now, if you write me a script for Cialis, I ain't using it for the gym. I'm gonna use it somewhere else. And I ain't got problems over there. So I don't want to create problems. And she's like, no, trust me. And she started preaching to me too, all the kind of health benefits of it. And then I think it wasn't until I heard Chad Johnson on a podcast talking about how beneficial it was for him when he was playing, because obviously he couldn't get popped for Cialis. But like with the heart rate stuff, dude, the heart rate thing alone is so real. And for someone like me, who's very like hyper and high strung, I think it actually helps me just calm down quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. No, it's actually kind of funny that we brought that up because that's one of the videos I'm going to be releasing, I think tomorrow, is like an overview of Cialis. Just because there's a big stigma, a lot of people obviously, which I get, lump sum it in with just erectile dysfunction. They think that's solely what it's for, but it has so many benefits that people don't know about. And it's one of those things where you're totally fine to run it like for the rest of your life if you want, and you're not going to have any detriment.
Ken, you got any trips coming up? You coming to visit me anytime soon?
Trip wise, let's see what's in the books right now. So I had New York Times, which is actually out here last week, and that was pretty dope. I did like an interview with them. Then I went up to the show this last weekend because I was going to do some content at festivals and stuff as well, kind of transition to some other stuff. Because I guess jumping back to your last question, the other things that I have kind of coming up is definitely going full force into the live streaming, but also IRL live streaming. So of course I'll do like the gaming, chatting on my computer and stuff, but I also want to go out with people to the gyms and kind of do different skits, maybe out and about in Vegas, or even, for instance, on trips, maybe out to Arizona and stuff. So we'll have to plan out maybe like a live stream out there.
I'd love to have you. And I ran into Dylan and Lauren Bear last week, and it was in between when I was just in Vegas with you and then coming back. So of course they say what's up and they were asking about you. And I said you might be coming out here soon. So I know they wanted to link up with you. But yeah, man, it's always good when we get to connect, whether it's in person or just over a call. Because like I said, dude, I mean, you're like a brother to me. You're one of the most genuine people in the space. And it's just so cool for me where, like, again, I'm nothing more than just a sponge, whether it's with learning about fitness, whether it's learning about the industry, whether it's learning about social media, entrepreneurship, and being surrounded by people like you, like Justin. I mean, I'm just grateful for it. And I say it almost every week when we wrap on this, is like, I'm just really lucky to have people like you guys in my circle. So appreciate you guys.
And likewise, bro. Definitely don't sell yourself short, bro. You bring so much to the table, more than you know.
I'm just a dude eating chicken and rice, doing some dumbbell curls. That's it.
Make his anabolic French toast.
Yeah.
Justin, like this podcast is we've talked about it today, like the importance of surrounding yourself with like not important people, but like good people in your life, and how they elevate you and inspire you, and like we all kind of like bring each other up. And I feel like this, like I've already knew I was blessed and I had good people around me. Like I keep my circle tight for that reason. But this is like kind of even showing me more that like through you, like we have a good network of like people around us, like just quality people that are like doing good shit with their lives and they're inspiring and like they'll give you their shirt off their back for you. Like you, I know you do like anything for me and I do anything for you. And if you vouch for Kenny, Kenny's got to be a cool dude. Like obviously he is. You guys live together, so I know he's a good guy because he associates with you.
I appreciate that. And it's just funny how, I mean, even Kenny said it, like, what were the odds he even saw that DM? Maybe it was fate that kind of linked us up, but I'm just grateful for the way the universe works. And I mean, obviously I was grateful for the time that we got to live together. I mean, after COVID ended and the world kind of opened back up, that's when friends and family and work pulled me back to Arizona. But I still say that living with Kenny was probably the most fun I've ever had in my entire life. I was literally living out of a suitcase off of like 5 shirts and a couple pairs of mesh shorts, but I was literally living the dream. It was just so cool how I was able to travel the country at that time and just literally connect all these dots, all these people, places, and things. And now for me, fast forward, I mean, that was already 5 years ago. And now what I really realized was a lot of that work I was doing was laying the groundwork for the success I'm having with my own brand now. So, I mean,
For sure.
I owe you such a huge thank you for just being an inspiration and a friend to me, because the success I've had with Results Athletic Club wouldn't even be half of what it is had I have not learned what I learned from you.
Oh man, dude, same thing, bro. For my brand, as you know, Scott was a fundamental piece in everything I've done.
Can we tell people what you paid me for the website? Do you want to disclose?
Yeah, I mean, if you want, yeah, go ahead.
So, okay. So again, because like Justin, you know, I don't ever do anything with the idea of money. Like money's not my main concern. It's do good work, money follows. And so when Kenny and I built, we started working on the website or I started doing the logo and he was like, no, I have to pay you. I have to pay you. And so like, he was the one that was like, take my money. So, okay, finally I took the paycheck. Then we go to do the website after we do the logo and we finish it. And he's like, all right, what do you want? And I was like, I don't know, just buy me a drone. We'll call it even. So he bought me a drone, and to this day, it's still the same drone that I use for all my content. But it's funny because again, I was never out here trying to make $1 million or buy Lamborghinis building businesses. It was, I wanted to help people I like. And so ironically, every time I go fly my drone, I think of you, Kenny.
Hey, bro, flying that thing in my house for the first time was such a fun and like fucking memory too. That shit was such mayhem. That's hella funny.
Dude, I've flown my drone in some really narrow spaces before, and it makes you realize like how dangerous it can be. Cause I literally flew it to a wall one time and I'm surprised it didn't break. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys all listening, and we'll definitely have to get Kenny back on. I know we say this almost at the end of every episode. It's usually been me, Justin, and then we'll do one other guest, but eventually we're going to open it up and we'll have 4 of us on here. And whether we're just kind of shooting the shit or talking about certain stories, things like that, but it's really just cool where, again, like I know a lot of people before this podcast probably haven't heard your actual story, Kenny. So I appreciate you sharing that, because I think it is really cool that, again, you've had so many different life experiences to go from a firefighter to now one of the biggest fitness YouTubers. And like, that's such a big gap that not a lot of people would have understood how you bridged it, or even that was your background in the past.
And I appreciate you guys having me on. And also, Justin, pleasure to meet you, my man.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you too. And that's I don't know, thank you for your service. Is that like I didn't know you were a firefighter before, so that's like that was new information to me. So that's pretty cool, and that's a badass job.
I appreciate it, man. And definitely you blow mine and Scott's physique away. So keep grinding, bro.
What about me and you combined?
No, you probably combined even, bro.
You know, all you guys
look at me. I'm eating goldfish over here with a monster can. I mean, he's got me smoked.
Dude, Justin posted this photo of like a front double the other day at what was that facility you were training at that I texted you? I was like, oh, that place looks sick as fuck.
First Form was there?
Not First Form. It was a different place.
Back in so that was S2's for
yep,
gym.
that one. Okay, so he posted this photo the other day, and I'm looking at the photo. The photo itself was sick. Where like, you know, you have a good physique, good background, good lighting, all the tangibles to make a good photo. But I'm looking at dude's physique. And I'm just like, dude, your quad sweep and just your fucking width. I was like, I gotta catch up with this motherfucker.
That's good though to have those people around. Like we were just saying, you know, that motivating factor brings out the best.
100%. And that's the funny part too, is like Kenny, even you, obviously you aren't competing anymore, but like, bro, you've been so supportive of my journey, whether it was helping me with shows, helping me with check-ins, like you've always had my back. And obviously I know you don't compete anymore, but like you respect and understand why I still do it and support it, which is dope too.
Oh man. Well, I'm sure we'll be doing this again here soon then.
Yeah.
We'll have
Hey,
to link
give
it back up,
Barry and
baby.
Benny a hug and kiss for me. And
I will. Tell Halani hi.
yeah. Listen, next time I'll actually do the
And
podcast
maybe
with
the
her.
next podcast we'll go out to the brothel and see if they're open this time.
I feel like we should make a trip back there just for old time's sake. Just, you know, see if they're open.
We got to reminisce, you know?
See if they're open.
Find that guy that owned that RV. Find the guy that owned that RV.
Maybe we'll go with that guy to the brothel in the RV.
I'll tell you what.
We could do a live stream podcast with him in the RV going to the brothel.
Dude,
that could be some crazy footage.
Penny, if you can find the footage of inside that guy's RV, it was like the looks on all of our faces was like Twilight Zone type shit. We're like, what are we doing? Where did we just walk into? We need to get the fuck out of here now. Like, what?
Oh, this shit's crazy,
That's
bro.
some Diddy.
Yeah, hey, Justin, like I said, you've been warned now. When you hang out with me and Kenny, who knows where you're going to end up? That's all I'm going to say.
Your shit might get crazy.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys listening. We'll see you guys next week. I don't know if we have anything lined up, but either way, we're trying to stay consistent with one episode per week. So new episode next week. And that's about it. Love you guys. Peace.
And be careful.